get into the Queens?
I was just an official member. I guess we had a meeting once, and we all decided what roles we were going to play. I was the warlord. There was like 2 warlords, and I believe it was me and Connie. Okay. Yeah, we were the warlords, and there was a treasurer and the president, this and that.
What does a warlord do?
Well, a warlord usually starts the fights, or whenever there was a fight, they were the first ones to be out there, you know. I mean, because I guess she looked at me and Connie as tough, you know. I guess we resembled toughness or something, you know. So the warlords just made sure that, you know, we were the ones that started or first ones that said anything, if we ever started it, you know.
How did you feel about being one?
It didn't bother me at all, you know. I didn't see myself just going up to somebody starting a fight, because I guess fights usually, I don't think we really started fights. I think fights came to us just simply because we had name when we titled us.
Why did you join in the first place?
Out of boredom, really. Because I didn't, you know, it wasn't that
You really didn't have nothing to do.
I mean, I could have hung out. If I hadn't hung out with them, it's just like hanging out with somebody else, a different group of people. Like Carmela and them, I guess this is pretty much why we had 2 different groups, because I hung out with the people that hung out there, and they hung out with other people, you know. And I fit in with both groups, you know. It's like Sandra, you know, she was in the Gents, and she was my cousin. We were good friends, and we hang out together. You know, they didn't break up anything because she was a Gent and I was a Queen. You know, so it was pretty much the group of people that you were hanging with. And I ain't retired to hang with them group of people, and I hung with them for a long time. There were different people that were in the Gents. And so it's pretty much wanting to be hanging with somebody else. To me, it's like hanging out. It wasn't so much fights and representing. It was just mostly fun. I mean, we went and met dudes, we partied all the time, we got high and shit. It was pretty much fun thing.
And why did you join? Really for me, because, well, if I didn't have nothing to do, when I first moved over here, you know, I didn't know it was a gang. I didn't even know about the Queens and nothing like that. And then like a couple of days later, my sister came up to me and she said, well, she was in the Queens. And so then like her cousin, Sandra, and I had a new Sandra to my other cousin. And she asked me, she said, well, do you want to be in the Gents? You know, so then we sat down and we grabbed it out, and I said, well, what's it all about? You know, and so then she laid it on me. And so then it took me a couple of days to think about it. And so then I decided, started getting bored around here. And so then I said, well, shit, I got to get up and do something. So I got up and I decided to join, right? Well,
Did you get into some fights?
One, a Wilson girl. That was it.
Why did it start?
We was up at this guy's house. We was getting some placidos. And so she said Queens suck something. And I just said Queens run it. And she said Wilson runs it. I said step outside then. Then we got to the corner and we started fighting. And Rosie and Connie stood on the other side.
Did you win that fight?
I can't really say. I don't know who won it.
Did you get hurt?
No, just a bloody nose.
Yeah. I ain't never lost no fight yet.
What kinds of things did you do to people in your fights?
Or either I bit them or I knocked them in the head with a brick or a rock or so forth.
Did anybody get seriously hurt?
Sure they did. In order to fight and survive, you gotta get seriously hurt.
But you never got hurt?
But I ain't never got hurt because usually I know what was coming up toward me. You know, I knew what was coming toward me, and so I was ready for everything. Whatever came to me, I was ready for it.
Do you feel like you fought about important things? Was it important to you at that time when you were having a fight to win it?
Oh yeah, if you didn't win it, you got talked about. And I don't like to get talked about.
How'd you learn to fight?
Okay, I was raised in Cabrini. In order to survive down there, you had to fight. And I fought almost every day. If it wasn't with, from the time I was small. No, if it wasn't with the kids, it was either with the grown-ups. Until I got to, well, my mother really didn't like to fight that much. Oh, she had a couple of hits in there. But she usually didn't let us hit grown-ups back. But it just got so they just take advantage of you and stuff and expect your mother to get you every time, you know, you do something and they run and say, well, your daughter did this, now I want you to hit her. And so then it was up to when I was big enough to hit them back. She just said, well, they hit you, just hit them back.
Did you have any ceremonies or poems?
Oh, you mean sing? Did you? We did.
Say something.
Mary knows a lot of them. Let's see. I'm a rock, I'm a stone, I'm a queen of the bone. We have no pity. Oh, when I die, place 2 shotguns across my chest and tell the queens I did my best. And then listen, we have no pity in Latin Queen City. And,
Queens to the bone, never turn stone.
yeah.
Queens to the heart, never fall apart.
What was in it for you to be in the game?
Simply because mostly I like the way most of the girls handle themselves. And I like to fight, and since probably most of my relatives, and what I feel about it now is not as strong as it was before. Simply because I can sit down and I can talk to the girls that say, well, I see how I feel. You know, they'll look at themselves by looking at other games and see how they used to be. And they say, well, boy, I used to act like that. I say, yeah. I say, do you see that you're growing up and you got to break out of that? I mean, when you're growing up and you don't break out of it, there must be something wrong.
Why did you decide to quit the Queens?
Because I was looking for betterness in myself. You know, I saw something better in me than just running around hanging out and doing nothing. You know, I mean, like I could get a job and I could look for things in myself that I'd never looked for before, you know, just finding out more about myself.
You know, in your working the Argyle Street area in the last 3 or 4 months?
Okay, I've noticed a great deal of change east of Sheridan Road on Argyle. People have bought up some of the buildings and are doing some major reorganization in the buildings, revamping them, changing them into condos. A large percentage of the buildings now are under renovation as far as the refurbishing of the buildings. I've noticed a lot of new people moving into the area, a lot of older people moving out of the area, less desirables moving out of the area. I foresee in the next few years a very much upswing on Argyle as far as businesses and things like that.
Well, nowadays it's tough, especially in the neighborhood of Argyle. With the situation is, I would say it's deteriorating in a certain extent. Well, cling on to the business and try to make a living. Hard. That's it.
What are the people like on the street?
Well, all types. The less desirable, senior citizens, all different kinds of people.
The phenomenal thing about this area right here is we got Chicanos, we got blacks, mulattoes, we got whites of all different. We got all different kinds of races up here. You know, mixed right here in the community. As far as conflict throughout the races, we don't have that. You know, but we find the community is going down because it looks just like don't nobody care.
You know what I really think it is? I think they're trying to move all the poor people out the city to the suburbs, man. Bring all the rich people back in. I think hey, that's real, man. I think the wealthy people want the Uptown area. They want it back.
This right here is something that you should take a view of, right here. Just take a view of this right here.
The whole street, man.
The streets, man. Take a view of the streets. You know, we got city workers that's being paid by every citizen of Chicago. You know, that's supposed to be clearing this stuff right here.
Can I ask you a question too, brother?
We can't get anything done in this community, man.
For that guy in the street, you know, after, 6 o'clock, a lot of young people, they're all street, a lot of trouble, too much fight, lot of store, bronc, still too many. Very, very dirty for Argyle Street. Nobody take care, for that. And the police, take care for day, for night, nobody, come police, for bother for people. No.
Tell me what's going on with the guys in the gangs. The people complain about it, What's your side?
They give up, we don't give them no hassle. We don't want no hassle from them. If we don't give them none, they shouldn't give us none. We just out here like everybody else. That's all.
No gang banging.
No, ain't no gang banging in the wintertime. We're just out here hanging around. We don't give nobody else trouble if they don't give us trouble. That sounds good, don't it? What like we like to have.
Clubs and stuff like that.
What we like to have, some of these, no good stores are around here. Maybe a little center with a couple ping pong tables, some pool tables put in. Maybe that'll help keep them off the street.
See, there's a lot of people getting purse snatches, robberies and shit like that in the hood. It never used to be like that. People are afraid to walk down the street now.
Every night on this street, Argyle, there's nothing but maybe killings, maybe rapes,
No telling, what's going to go down.
It's kind of shape for the buildings in it.
Apartments ain't nothing like rat holes. You walk in the buildings, there's holes in the walls as big as a tunnel. They don't fix it.
Landlords don't live in this neighborhood, my man. They live in Skokie, they live in Lincolnwood, they live in Niles. The building I live in, they own 3 buildings from here to Bryn Mawr. Building I live in, they own 3 buildings from here to Bryn Mawr, and they're all slum tenants. You got more cockroaches than you got tenants.
Well, yes, they're falling apart. Yeah, they're falling down. And the landlords don't want to seem to build them back up. They don't care, They just don't want to spend no money on them. or something. On Argyle Street, it's really a bad neighborhood. It really is, for children or for grown-ups too. And then when you got a place of business on Argyle too, it's bad because, I don't know, people just don't want to cooperate and help, and it's really a bad neighborhood.
To me, it's a working man's neighborhood. If you work for a dollar, there's nobody going to cheat you here, nobody going to hustle you. It's the only neighborhood I lived in like that. Unless you want to be hustled or want to be cheated. That's the only way. No other way.
¿Cuánto tiempo usted vivió aquí y cómo usted se siente del neighborhood?
No, me siento bien, me mantengo. Mantengo a mi familia y me siento bien. People is nice.
¿Esto es lo que usted hace para mantenerse?
No, tengo trabajo en fábrica.
Says he likes the neighborhood and he hasn't had really any major problems, and he has a factory job and this is what he does for his own personal tour for pocket money.
It's just about as good. This neighborhood's just about as good as any of the other neighborhoods. They're all bad if you want to know how good, not what I think of them. But there's good and there's bad in every neighborhood.
How do you feel personally about the neighborhood?
Personally? It could be improved.
In what kind of ways?
Well, they pick up a few of these hand jack rollers and purse snatchers and things instead of letting them go. Why, take them and lock them up for a while. Maybe they could straighten some of these things out around here.
Do the police in the neighborhood give you any type of help with the arcade after closing hours?
They help me. They help me all the time. And they come here for help too, and I have to help them. They help me and I help them.
The people have changed. It's for the better, and we don't. It's a lot safer community now than it's. That's about the biggest change. You can see in Kenmore right now. There's a resodding the whole area, the whole street of Kenmore right now. Putting in new sod, trees along the parkway there. It really looks very nice.
I've been up here for about 18 years. It was a fairly good town at that time. Believe me, a lot of things are being run down, and I don't believe that should be happening. And I don't think they should make a rent so high that people can't pay it either. Like the elderly people, the people that really need, that can't work or something like that, should have some kind of concern.
To the 6th grade, and that they all small, and you can't argue with big guys if you're small. So I got rid of them about 3 years ago. I don't have any.
How is it dealing with it by yourself?
I know what's done and know where to stop and when to start the next day. You're much better off.
Have the kids changed in the 27 years?
Oh, they smarter than you'll ever be. Don't ever worry about a thing.
I don't know, every time everybody leaves, they always come right back to the same old area.
They miss it.
They can't leave without, they can't just leave it. Yeah.
Is it like one big family for you?
Yeah, because I've known everybody since I was about this tall around here.
So there's a sense of togetherness here in this neighborhood.
Yep. Everybody's just like one big happy family.
How about the raising of kids in Uptown? Do you think it's easier here with everybody around helping or harder?
It's hell. Raising kids, no matter how you do it.
It's
no matter where you're at. No matter where you're at, it's hell raising kids.
Is there anything different about raising kids here than, say, in Florida or Mississippi?
No, it's harder out there. It's easier here. Yeah.
Why is it easier here?
Because you got all these people around you, and you got communities that help you. Where down there you don't have nothing. If you can't get a job, that's it. You know.
Is your mother here?
No.
But you all help each other.
If we can.
If you can. Stuff like that. How about work? Are you able to find it?
Yeah, it's easy. No, because if you find a job, it costs you so much for a babysitter. Yeah. Daily pay, that's $20 a day. It costs you $10 for a babysitter. Yeah. So it's not worth going out to work.
So how do you do it? How do you make ends meet?
Welfare. That's it.
They used to cut us off of welfare, we'd be out on the streets.
And they're talking about cutting everybody off that don't have fathers. You'd be cutting off this whole neighborhood, this whole city. And then you're supposed to tell these kids, you can't eat, you can't go to school, you can't do nothing, you know?
Well, what do you think is going to happen with all the cuts that are coming down?
They're just going to peel. And that's it. That's all you can do.
And people don't have to starve on the streets. No, not at all.
What are there?
And there's other places. There's other places on Malden. You could go for a meal if you need it, you know. And these girls going around having these babies getting on welfare. I don't believe in that, but that's what they're doing.
What do you think about that?
Not very good. Not very good.
Why is that?
Well, they figure if they go out and have these babies, they'll get taken care of because welfare will take care of them. But we're really going to move in and see about that.
What will happen to the children, do you think?
Well, their children will go to work and they'll have places for their children to be kept. Why not? They go out and have babies, their children can be kept. What you think?
So it's different than when you were raising.
Oh my goodness, yes, I didn't raise my family here. Oh yeah, I've been in Chicago since the snow at '67. I raised my daughter up here. I lived in this building here when it was a nice building. It's gone to the dogs now.
How has it changed?
How's it changed?
Yeah.
Well, these smart-ass boys. We didn't have that then. Maybe there was, but they didn't present themselves like they do now.
So you've seen a lot of changes. This building over here
yes.
has changed?
4540 Magnolia, the first one. Yeah, it's really changed.
It's really
And the neighborhood has really changed, yeah. People try to make it better, but I don't guess it will be any better.
What?
The gangs, they run after each other. Just now down the street, there runs a bunch of boys. I don't know what they was running after, but they chased each other. They don't allow other gangs in their neighborhood. Why? I don't know. Anybody can walk the streets, right? Sure.
Supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly.
So what do you think is going to happen to the young people of the Uptown area, at least the area you live in?
What is going to happen to them? Something's got to change. See? That's all they know is Gaylords.